Chosen one. The battle is over. Heaven has gone silent, not because God has left, but because the war you fought has been won. That stillness you feel is not emptiness, it's divine confirmation. The angels who once warred around you now stand at attention, watching the one who refused to bow finally stand in peace. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are standing in the silence after victory. You've walked through storms that others could not have survived. Every attack, every betrayal, every sleepless night, they were assignments of darkness meant to break your faith. Yet here you are. You endured when it made no sense to. You held your ground when every voice around you told you to quit. And now, heaven itself acknowledges your endurance. The season of hidden warfare has ended. The air around you is shifting. The tension that once wrapped around your spirit has loosened. This silence is heaven's applause. The unseen realm celebrates in reverence, not noise. You are standing in the moment when angels exchange weapons for trumpets. Their song is not sung aloud, but resonates through your spirit, confirming that the storm's purpose has been fulfilled and that you have graduated into glory's rest. You are now walking on ground that once trembled beneath the weight of your battles. The soil is blessed by your perseverance. Every scar you carry glows like proof of divine protection. Where pain once screamed, peace now whispers. What once threatened to destroy you has instead become the testimony that announces your destiny. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 23, verse 4. I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and staff comfort me. That was you, walking through the valley, your prayers echoing in the darkness, your faith flickering but never dying. You didn't realize it then, but that valley was training your voice to sound like victory. It was shaping you into someone unshakable, someone who now walks not as a survivor, but as a conqueror. Heaven celebrates differently than earth does. Down here, people cheer when the crowd approves, but in heaven, there's silence when glory descends. That's what you feel, the quiet weight of divine honor. The silence you sense is the sound of new authority settling upon you. It's the sound of chains breaking in dimensions you can't yet see. Don't rush this moment. Rest in it. The same spirit that sustained you in battle now wraps you in peace. The world won't understand this stillness, but you do. You've fought enough to know that peace is not weakness, it's reward. God doesn't need to shout to prove he's near. His peace is proof enough. So, take a deep breath. Look at where you are. The weapons that once wounded, you are now lying broken at your feet. The accusations, the doubt, the fear, they've lost their power. You stand taller now, because your spirit remembers what it survived. The old you was a fighter, the new you is a victor. But don't forget, this victory carries responsibility. The silence after battle is when kings and queens learn to rule. This is your time to listen for divine instruction. God will begin to whisper new assignments, new directions, and divine partnerships. Don't let the quiet deceive you. It's filled with guidance. Chosen one, it's time to step into your new rhythm. Lift your eyes. Something greater is unfolding. The people who once questioned your calling will soon witness your reward. The very ground that trembled beneath you is about to become the platform that lifts you higher. Right now, heaven pauses, waiting for your response. Will you acknowledge this moment? Will you honor what God has done for you? If this message resonates deep within your spirit, take a prophetic step like share and comment the number 777 below as a declaration that your battle is finished and your reward is beginning to manifest. You've won, chosen one. Now, peace is your proof. Chosen one. As you stand in the stillness, something begins to move above you. You can't see it yet, but the atmosphere is thick with divine activity. Heaven has opened. The very realm that once felt closed off to your prayers is now alive with motion, carrying your name before the throne. You've stepped into a moment where invisible doors have been unlocked. You didn't earn this through perfection, but through perseverance. Heaven is responding to the cry that refused to die inside you. Every act of obedience you gave in secret, every moment you chose faith over fear, these were not ignored. They were recorded. The angels who once fought beside you now carry the record of your endurance as a testimony before God. Your name echoes in the courts of heaven. Surrounded by light, the scroll of your life has reached a turning page, and the ink of destiny is still wet with promise. The shift is subtle, but you can feel it, a new current pulling you toward divine fulfillment. What you prayed for in weakness, heaven now releases in strength. The resistance that held you captive was never stronger than your calling. It was only the final test before release. And now, that release has begun. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 29, verse 11. I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and give you hope and a future. Look deeper. Chosen one. The opening you sense isn't only above you, it's within you. Heaven doesn't just open over the faithful, it opens through them. You have become the conduit of divine manifestation. The Spirit within you is expanding, pushing out fear, making space for glory. You're beginning to understand what it means to walk as a vessel of the Almighty. When heaven opens, things accelerate, delays dissolve, ideas, visions, and dreams that once felt out of reach suddenly gain momentum. Divine timing synchronizes with earthly movement, and everything begins to flow. You're not forcing it anymore, you're aligning. This is the difference between striving and receiving. Striving drains, but alignment multiplies. There was a time you begged for confirmation. You searched the skies, hoping for a sign that God hadn't forgotten you. Now, the entire atmosphere is the sign, the wind you feel, the clarity you sense, the peace that follows you. It's all heaven whispering. You made it through, and now the reward begins. Oply, beloved, understand this. The opening of heaven isn't always loud. Sometimes it's as quiet as a sudden breakthrough in your thoughts, an unexpected opportunity, or a supernatural calm after years of unrest. Heaven opens when your heart becomes ready to receive without resistance. And you, chosen one, are ready. You've been refined until you can now hold what you once prayed for without breaking under its weight. When heaven opens, divine revelation begins to pour. Answers come easily. Your mind clears. You begin to discern what once confused you. People who no longer align with your destiny begin to fade away. Not as punishment, but as protection. The open heaven doesn't need crowds, it needs clarity. And clarity is what you've gained through pain. Now, your perspective shifts. You no longer see closed doors as rejection, but as redirection. You no longer question why certain seasons were silent. You understand they were the soil for this very harvest. The things that once frustrated you now make sense under the open sky of divine wisdom. You realize nothing was wasted every moment. Every tear, every delay was preparing you for the magnitude of this unveiling. Chosen one. The heavens do not open for entertainment, they open for purpose. That means the blessings that are coming aren't random gifts, they're tools. You're being equipped for impact. This new season isn't about proving who you are, it's about fulfilling what you were born to do. You're no longer fighting for identity, you're functioning from identity. You've crossed from proving into producing. In this silence filled with glory, the atmosphere around you hums with destiny. The angels assigned to your next chapter stand ready. Their wings shimmer with the reflection of your obedience. They move at the word of the Lord, not at your desperation. Because desperation has ended, faith has taken its place. The heaviness that once sat on your chest lifts, replaced by a weightless certainty. You know now that what's coming isn't the result of luck, but of alignment. The years of pressing were not punishment, they were training. Every time you refused to curse God in your wilderness, you unlocked favor for your promise. Take a moment and feel it. The pressure is gone. The air feels new. The colors around you seem brighter. This is not imagination, this is manifestation. Heaven is breathing on everything connected to you. The invisible has started to touch the visible. What was delayed is being delivered. Chosen one. Look closely at your reflection, not in the mirror of the world, but in the mirror of the Spirit. You've changed. You carry something unseen, yet undeniable. The mark of the overcomer glows within you, a seal that heaven itself has placed on your life. You didn't earn it through pride or performance. It appeared the moment you refused to surrender to the darkness that tried to swallow you. There's a reason certain people sense something different about you now. They can't explain it, but they feel it. You walk into rooms and the atmosphere shifts. You speak, and hearts are stirred. This is the sign that your spiritual authority has been activated. You no longer walk as one begging for victory. You carry the evidence of it. The world may not recognize it, but the unseen realm does. Demons that once tormented you now tremble when you pray. Obstacles that once blocked you now step aside. You've crossed from victimhood into divine dominion. This isn't arrogance, it's recognition of what heaven has declared true about you. You have been marked by endurance, by fire, by obedience, and now that mark draws favor to you like light draws life. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 3, verse 19, "The sovereign Lord is my strength. He makes my feet like the feet of a deer. He enables me to tread on the heights." Oh, you have been strengthened for higher ground. The climb was never punishment, it was preparation. The wind that once resisted you has now become the very force that lifts you. Every scar has turned into a signature of divine strength. You don't carry weakness anymore, you carry witness. Chosen one. Realize this. The mark you bear is spiritual armor. It shields you from attacks that used to pierce you easily. The same words that once wounded you now bounce harmlessly off the surface of your peace. The opinions of others no longer control your direction because your identity no longer depends on validation. Heaven has already approved you. There's a quiet power surrounding you now. It's not loud. It's not disparity. It's steady like the heartbeat of eternity pulsing inside your chest. You are walking proof that divine perseverance produces glory. The light within you cannot be hidden. It exposes lies simply by existing. That's why opposition increases right before elevation. The enemy can sense promotion before you see it. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out, not through noise, but through presence. Your endurance has transformed you into a vessel that reveals God's strength in human form. You are the living evidence that faith outlasts fear, that hope outshines darkness. This new mark will draw attention, both holy and hostile. Be wise. The same anointing that attracts blessing can also stir envy, but do not fear it. Light never apologizes for shining. Walk boldly in your assignment. Even when others misunderstand your glow, your calling was written in eternity. Their approval is temporary. When you speak, your words now carry spiritual weight. Heaven amplifies your voice. Every declaration you make in faith ripples across unseen realms. This is why your silence in past seasons was necessary. God was building your authority in quietness, so that now your words would carry impact. Chosen one. Your mark is not just a symbol, it's a signal. Heaven sees it. Hell fears it. Destiny recognizes it. Wherever you go, divine order follows. Situations begin to align simply because you show up. You are a carrier of heavenly atmosphere, a walking reminder that victory is not only possible, it's inevitable. Now, pause for a moment. Feel that heat in your spirit. That's not emotion, that's power awakening. It's the realization that you are not who you used to be. The warfare didn't destroy you, it delivered you into purpose. The pain didn't define you, it refined you into gold. And as you read these words, something in you stirs again. You remember the moments when giving up seemed easier. You remember the prayers whispered through tears, the faith that felt fragile, yet you made it. You're still standing. That's not survival, that's proof of divine selection. There's something prophetic about acknowledging what God has done. It seals the transformation in your soul. So, take this moment and declare your awareness. Type the words, I am marked. These 3 words are not for the algorithm, they are for your own affirmation. When you write them, you're declaring agreement with heaven. You're announcing that the mark you bear is permanent, that your identity is no longer shaped by past wounds, but by present grace. You're telling the universe, I know who I am now. No, because you are marked. You will notice divine coincidences begin to increase. Strangers will confirm things you've prayed in secret. Doors will open without explanation. And even the resistance you face will serve to remind you that the mark is real. It means you're recognized by both realms. Chosen one. The shift is happening. The tables are turning. And this time, they're turning in your favor. The balance that once seemed tilted against you is now being corrected by unseen hands. The justice of heaven is in motion. The very areas where you were humiliated, dismissed, and forgotten are becoming the stages where your vindication will unfold. What once mocked you will now magnify you. You may not see the full reversal yet, but the process has already begun. What was taken from you is on its way back, restored, multiplied, sanctified. The losses that once crushed your spirit were never final. They were the setup for this moment. God never forgets the tears shed in truth. Every silent prayer you released into the darkness has returned as a command in the light. Heaven is rewriting the story. Where you were once the rejected one, You are becoming the reference point of redemption. Those who misjudged you will witness how the same God they doubted in you is now exalting you. You won't need to defend yourself. The evidence of favor will speak louder than your explanations ever could. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. This has always been the secret to your strength. You didn't retaliate. You waited. You didn't curse those who wounded you. You blessed them. You didn't force your way through doors that closed. You trusted the one who holds every key. That restraint was not weakness. It was spiritual wisdom. And now, heaven rewards restraint with reversal. When God turns the tables, He doesn't just restore you privately, He restores you publicly. The people who once whispered about your fall will now speak of your rise. The very ground that saw your tears will witness your triumph. This is not revenge, it's revelation. It reveals who God truly is, faithful, just, and precise in His timing. And notice how your heart feels different now. The bitterness that once tried to root itself in your soul has been replaced with understanding. You no longer crave revenge, you crave restoration. That's how you know the transformation is real. You've grown beyond pain. You've entered peace. The strength you carry now isn't just survival, it's sovereignty. Chosen one. This reversal will reach every area: relationships, finances, reputation, even the secret battles you never spoke of. God is not only restoring what you lost, He's adding interest. The very delay that caused you pain has been compounding your reward in silence. Pay attention to the subtle signs. The energy around you feels lighter. People who once ignored you are now drawn to your wisdom. Doors that once slammed shut now stand slightly ajar, waiting for your approach. These are confirmations that heaven's order has shifted. You're no longer on the defense, you're on the rise. Still, remember this: your elevation is not about proving anyone wrong, it's about proving God right. The purpose of this reversal is not to boast in your strength, but to glorify His faithfulness. You endured when others abandoned faith, and now your story becomes the evidence that God vindicates those who trust Him. Even creation responds when the tables turn. Opportunities appear that feel tailor-made for you. Conversations suddenly align with your long-held dreams. What was once confusion now flows with divine clarity. It's as if life itself is rearranging to serve your purpose. That's because when God commands restoration, everything obeys time, people, circumstances, even the memories that once haunted you. And this is only the beginning. The full manifestation of your reversal will unfold gradually, so you can handle its magnitude. You've been humbled in the valley, now you will be trusted on the mountain. The lessons you learned in pain will sustain you in promotion. So walk calmly, confidently. Don't rush the unveiling. Each step is sacred. The tables are turning not by your power, but by divine orchestration. The God who promised to fight for you is doing exactly that, strategically, silently, perfectly. When heaven reverses injustice, the outcome is never small. The one who was overlooked becomes essential. The one who was silenced becomes the voice of transformation. And the one who once prayed for deliverance becomes the deliverer for others still trapped where you once were. Chosen one. Your story is shifting in real time. The tables are turning. The favor that once felt delayed is now flowing. Stand still and watch. The Lord is fighting for you, even now. Chosen one. This is the moment when what was hidden begins to surface. The veil is lifting, revealing the purpose behind every silent season you endured. What others could not see was that heaven was shaping you in secret. You were like a seed buried deep underground, silent, unseen, yet destined to break through the soil when the time was right. That time is now. The world may have misread your stillness as failure. They saw you withdraw, thinking you had nothing left to give. But the truth is, God was teaching you the language of the unseen. While others were chasing visibility, you were being taught authenticity. While they sought applause, you were being built for anointing. Hiddenness was never punishment, it was protection. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 12. The Lord will open the heavens, the storehouse of his bounty, to send rain on your land in season, and to bless all the work of your hands. Oh, you see, that's what this moment is, the season when your inner rain begins to fall. Every effort, every quiet act of obedience, every prayer whispered when no one was watching, they've all soaked the soil of your destiny. And now, it's blooming. Chosen one. You were never meant to be ordinary soil. You are sacred ground. That's why God didn't let everyone plant seeds in you. He was protecting your soil for the right season, the right purpose, the right harvest. Those years of seeming nothingness were actually years of divine cultivation. Now, as your harvest begins to emerge, don't be surprised when people come to watch. They'll see fruit where once there was only silence. They'll wonder how it happened so suddenly, but you'll know it wasn't sudden. It was sacred timing. What felt like delay was preparation. The gifts inside you are no longer dormant. Heaven is breathing life into them again. The creativity, the compassion, the courage, they're all awakening. It's like dawn breaking after a long night. The world is about to see what God saw in you all along. But here's the truth few understand. When the hidden becomes visible, responsibility also multiplies. The light that now shines on you is not just for applause, it's for purpose. The more your influence grows, the more your humility must deepen. The seed that breaks through the soil still depends on the rain to grow. Never forget that your strength still flows from the source. You are entering a season where giving and growing will walk hand in hand. To sustain the harvest, the soil must keep circulating life. That's why I want to speak to your spirit gently, but honestly. When something feeds your faith, nourish it back. When you receive light, help keep that flame alive. If these messages pour into your heart, don't let them be passing words. Like the message, if it touches you, it's your way of saying, I hear this truth. Share it. Not for popularity, but because someone else needs the reminder that their hidden season isn't wasted. Subscribe to stay connected, not as a number, but as a witness to what God is building among his chosen ones. And if your heart feels led, donate, not out of pressure, but as a seed into the soil that has watered your faith. Every offering, no matter how small, is like placing another brick in the foundation of a sanctuary where more souls can be reached. Think of it this way: when rain falls on a field, it doesn't bless just one plant. It nourishes the entire landscape. When you give, you become part of that rain. You participate in the cycle of life and light. Heaven uses your generosity to multiply hope. Chosen one. Your story was never about you alone. God hid you, not to silence you, but to strengthen you so you could carry others when the time came. And that time is now. Your words, your actions, even your quiet presence, they carry healing. You are becoming the answer to someone else's prayer. That's why your growth matters. That's why your light must stay lit. You've learned that the unseen world is more real than the visible. Now, you're stepping into a life where your spirit leads and your circumstances follow. The work you do, the kindness you give, the truth you speak, all of it echoes in eternity. Don't despise small beginnings. Even the smallest light can guide ships through the darkest waters. And don't underestimate your influence. You may think you're just one person, but you are a voice heaven has chosen for this generation, a reminder that faith still transforms, that hidden seasons still produce glory. So keep your heart open, your hands generous, your spirit humble. The reward is not coming, it's already here, growing like dawn, one ray at a time. Your hiddenness has ended, your harvest has begun, and heaven is smiling, whispering, "Well done, faithful one, chosen one." The atmosphere around you is alive with numbers, not human calculations. But divine code. Heaven speaks in patterns, in signs that appear in the quiet corners of your days. Have you noticed them? The repeating digits on the clock, the numbers that seem to follow you, the confirmations that appear when your faith wavers. These are not coincidences. They are whispers from eternity. Proof that the invisible realm is aligning with your obedience. Prophetic numbers are not just symbols, they are signals. When heaven repeats something, it's emphasizing revelation, the same way thunder follows lightning. Numbers often follow divine movement. They are heaven's way of saying, "Pay attention, I'm speaking." And you've walked through enough silence to know the difference between superstition and sacred timing. What's happening now is not random, it's orchestration. The universe bends toward those who walk in divine order. And you have stepped into that rhythm. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 9, "No eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no mind has conceived what God has prepared for those who love him." Chosen one. Pay attention to the numbers that stir your heart. Maybe it's 333, a symbol of divine completeness. Maybe it's 555, grace multiplied, transformation in motion. Or perhaps, for you, it's a number like 444, an angelic reminder that you are surrounded, that your path is secure, that your faith is being built upon the foundation of heaven itself. These numbers are not magic. They are mercy. They show that even in the smallest details of your life, heaven is engaged. When you see them, pause and breathe. Whisper gratitude. It's heaven's way of winking at you, reminding you that your steps are ordered. For too long, you've questioned whether your prayers reached the sky. You've wondered if your choices were right, if your path was still blessed. But now, God is answering with patterns, divine fingerprints, hidden in plain sight. Every number that appears in rhythm with your spirit is a signature of His promise. You may think you're noticing them by chance, but the truth is, your spirit is more awake than it used to be. You are tuned to the frequency of the divine. The noise of doubt has quieted enough for you to hear heaven's heartbeat. That's why these signs are increasing. They're proof that your spiritual sensitivity has matured. Chosen one. These prophetic signs are invitations, not décorations. When you see them, respond. Take a breath and say, I see you, Lord. Let it become an act of worship, a reminder that heaven is walking with you in real time. Don't ignore the details. They carry divine direction. Maybe the number appears right before an opportunity. Maybe it confirms a decision. Maybe it reminds you that you're exactly where you need to be. God doesn't play games with your life. He guides it with precision. Every number you see in this season is an echo of His promise that your path is protected. You're not waiting for confirmation anymore. You're living inside it. Everything is beginning to synchronize. You'll feel it in your spirit. Peace where there used to be panic. Clarity where there used to be confusion. This is divine alignment, made visible through heavenly mathematics. Chosen one. Heaven is calling for your response. When you recognize this alignment, when the numbers confirm that you are indeed walking in your purpose, acknowledge it publicly. As a prophetic act, comment the number 444 below. If this message resonates deep in your soul, it's not about superstition, it's about recognition. You are saying to the heavens, I see the pattern. I accept the promise. Item, when you type that number, you're doing something spiritual. You're agreeing with the rhythm of God's timing. You're declaring that your life is in alignment with divine will. That act of acknowledgement releases energy, faith, and awareness into your surroundings. You are not just observing signs, you are responding to them. And in that response, something shifts. Heaven records agreement. The same angels who mark seasons take note of your faith. That's when acceleration happens, when what you believe internally is confirmed externally. These patterns are not meant to control your life. They're meant to comfort your faith. They are reminders that heaven's plan is not random, and that you are exactly where you should be. So, when you see it again on the clock, in a message, or narrate, don't dismiss it. Smile. Whisper gratitude. You're being seen, guided, and affirmed. Chosen one. Your season of divine confirmation has begun. The numbers are not there to predict your destiny, they are there to celebrate it. You are walking in perfect alignment, surrounded by patterns of promise. And as heaven continues to confirm what your spirit already knows, remember, this is not coincidence, it is covenant. Chosen one. There are doors before you, now, doors that no man can shut. They are not ordinary doors, they are thresholds between the life you've known and the destiny you've been promised. You've knocked long enough. The time of waiting has ended. You can almost hear the hinges creak in the unseen realm as opportunity begins to unfold in front of you. You once thought you had missed your moment, that too much time had passed, that others had gone ahead. But what if the delay was part of the design? What if every detour, every closed door, every unanswered prayer was a tool in God's hand, shaping you into the person who could walk through the real door when it finally opened? The ancient words recorded in Revelation, chapter 3, verse 8, declare, See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. I know that you have little strength, yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name. Chosen one. Heaven has remembered your endurance. That open door isn't a reward for perfection, it's a recognition of perseverance. You stayed faithful when quitting was easier. You believed when no one believed in you. You carried obedience like a torch through the tunnels of uncertainty. And now that flame has become the key that unlocks the next realm of your calling. The doors God opens for you will not require manipulation. They will swing open through alignment, not ambition. They will feel too big for you because you were never meant to enter by strength, but by surrender. This is how heaven elevates the humble. It opens paths that no human effort could force, and it invites the obedient to walk through without striving. In the coming days, you'll begin to notice how divine timing arranges itself. Conversations will lead to breakthroughs. A connection you thought was casual will become crucial. Opportunities will seem to find you rather than you chasing them. That's because the door is already open. You're simply walking into what's been waiting for you. Don't overanalyze how it will happen. The key has already turned in heaven's lock. Your task is not to force it open. It's to keep your heart ready to step through. The biggest obstacle now is hesitation. Fear whispers, "What if it's too good to be true?" But faith responds, "What if it's exactly what God promised?" You have spent years proving your faith in closed rooms. Now, the open door requires you to prove your courage. Walking through it will feel like stepping into unfamiliar light. It may stretch you, expose you, even test your confidence. But that's the purpose of the door, to move you from comfort to calling. Chosen one. When you cross this threshold, everything changes. The people connected to you, the influence you carry, the peace you release, all of it expands. What once felt like confinement becomes commission. You'll look back and realize that the closed seasons were necessary. They taught you integrity, humility, and patience. Without those lessons, you might have reached the door too early and lacked the maturity to stay on the other side. Some doors will open quietly, almost unnoticed. A small yes that shifts everything. Others will open suddenly, like a wind that changes direction overnight. But in every case, the signature of God will be peace. And understand this: when heaven opens a door, it doesn't just change your environment, it transforms your identity. You're no longer the one waiting, you're the one walking. You're no longer praying for breakthrough, you are the breakthrough. The open door is not only before you, it's within you. You have become access for others. Your testimony, your obedience, your transformation, they will unlock courage in those watching your life unfold. Do not underestimate this moment. Every closed chapter was a rehearsal for this entrance. The disappointment prepared you to handle favor with grace. The isolation trained you to listen to the still, small voice. The rejection purified your motives, making sure that when you stand in the light, you won't forget who gave it to you. The open door is more than opportunity, it's responsibility. What you carry through it will influence generations. Every step must echo gratitude. Every word you speak beyond this point must carry the humility of one who remembers the hallway of waiting. So, walk. Chosen one. Don't hesitate at the threshold. Don't look back at doors that closed behind you. They served their purpose. Ahead lies the wide expanse of destiny, the field where your faith will flourish. The room prepared for your anointing to expand. The door is open. The invitation is written in light, and nothing, no power, no person, no doubt can shut what heaven has decreed for you. Chosen one. Every story of victory has witnesses. You have entered the chapter where your vindication becomes visible, not as vengeance, but as divine démonstration. The season of being overlooked is over. Now, the eyes that once dismissed you will see what endurance looks like when heaven decides to honor it. The same tables that once excluded you are being rearranged for your presence. You may have thought no one noticed the nights you cried, the prayers whispered into your pillow, or the moments when your faith trembled but didn't break. Yet heaven recorded it all. Every moment of quiet obedience was seen. Every time you refused to retaliate, you wrote your name into the narrative of the righteous. Now, it's time for those who doubted to witness the fruit of what you sowed in silence, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old. In the book of Psalms, chapter 23, verse 5, you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. And chosen one. The oil that drips upon you in this season is not only for recognition, it's for revelation. The anointing is being made visible, and its fragrance cannot be ignored. People who once turned their backs will sense that something has changed. Some will come closer out of curiosity, others out of conviction. You will not need to speak much. Your peace will do the talking. There's a reason your promotion is public. It's not about pride, it's about prophecy. The world needs to see that faith still works, that humility still elevates, that righteousness still reigns in a world obsessed with noise. Your life has become a living sermon, and heaven has turned the volume up. But don't let attention distract you. Public elevation is a dangerous place for a heart unguarded. The same light that reveals favor can also expose vulnerability. That's why you were trained in the dark, so the glow of the spotlight won't blind you now. Remember the lessons from your wilderness. Stay humble. Stay pure. Stay focused. There will be those who can't reconcile your past with your present. They'll wonder how the one they counted out became the one chosen for divine display. Don't waste energy explaining. Let grace speak. Let the evidence of your peace and the integrity of your actions answer every question without words. Chosen one. The stage of vindication is holy ground. It's not a theater for ego, it's an altar for gratitude. Every eye upon you is another opportunity to point upward. Every compliment is a chance to redirect glory to the one who lifted you. If you keep your gaze heavenward, your elevation will never become a snare. It will remain a song. Your story now carries weight. You are not just being seen, you are being studied. People will watch how you handle blessing, just as they watched how you handled brokenness. Heaven trusts you to model maturity, to show what it looks like when reward doesn't corrupt righteousness. This is why your rise had to be delayed, so your character could hold the weight of your calling. As you ascend, you'll notice that some familiar faces begin to fade. Don't grieve it. Some people were only assigned to your construction, not your completion. The scaffolding must come down once the building stands tall. Thank them in your heart. Release them in peace, and continue forward. The ones meant for this next level will recognize your light and walk beside it with reverence, not envy. There will also be those who return not because they suddenly understood your worth, but because they now see what they missed. Treat them kindly, but wisely. Forgiveness does not always mean access. Some apologies are meant to be accepted, not repeated. Keep your heart clean, but your boundaries strong. Chosen one. You are a display of divine reversal. You are walking evidence that patience is not wasted time, but sacred investment. Every delay has ripened into fruit. Every loss has become testimony. Every tear has transformed into oil. And as your influence expands, remember this: the true reward is not the applause, it's the peace. The same God who lifted you can sustain you only if you remain anchored in gratitude. The applause of men fades quickly, but the approval of heaven endures forever. In this season of visibility, continue to do what you did in secret. Pray, listen, obey. That rhythm of humility is your safeguard. That posture of worship will keep you balanced when the weight of favor increases. So walk into the light without fear. The eyes upon you are not there to trap you, but to testify of God's goodness. Let your joy be quiet, your heart steady, your vision clear. The cup in your hand is overflowing, not because you chased it, but because you were faithful enough to wait for it. And as the world watches your rise, may they see not a person exalted, but a purpose fulfilled. Chosen one, your voice is no longer an echo, it is a trumpet. Once, you whispered prayers in private, trembling under the weight of silence. But now, your words carry power. They don't merely travel through air, they pierce dimensions. Every syllable you speak in faith reverberates through heaven's corridors. You have become a messenger, a sound of awakening to those still asleep in fear. You were silent for so long, not because you had nothing to say, but because heaven was tuning your tone. The pain refined your language. The losses purified your message. Now when you speak, even the unseen trembles. This is not about volume, it's about vibration. Your voice has been anointed with authority. The Apostle Paul writes in the book of Romans, chapter 10, verse 14, "And how can they hear without someone preaching to them?" Chosen one, you have become that someone. You don't need a pulpit or a microphone. Your life is the sermon. Your kindness is a message. Your peace is a declaration. Your forgiveness is a prophecy. Wherever you go, heaven speaks through you. But understand this: a trumpet does not play for itself. Its purpose is to announce, to awaken, to prepare. The sound you now release is not self-promotion, it's spiritual mobilization. Every word of truth you share shakes something loose in another person's soul. You are no longer just surviving your story, you are using it to set captives free. This is why your silence was so long. Heaven doesn't hand a trumpet to someone still learning to breathe. You had to master stillness before you could steward sound. Now that you've learned to listen, you can finally speak what heaven trusts you to declare. Your testimony is about to travel farther than your physical reach. Words you speak in faith will echo into places you've never stepped. People you'll never meet will feel courage rise within them because of your obedience. That's the nature of divine sound. It transcends time, distance, and explanation. When you speak truth, don't underestimate its power. Even a whisper can shatter chains if it carries God's breath. Even a sentence can ignite transformation if it's born from your scars. Every time you share your story, you're scattering seeds of awakening into the world. But remember, trumpets don't sound endlessly. There's rhythm, there's timing, there's rest between blasts. Wisdom is knowing when to speak and when to let silence do the talking. Some moments require proclamation, others require presence. You will know the difference because peace will confirm it. Chosen one, your voice is needed. The world is drowning in noise, opinions, arguments, fears, but few sounds carry heaven's frequency. Yours does. It's not polished, not perfect, but pure. When you speak, there's weight. When you pray, there's movement. When you worship, there's warfare. Your words will begin to draw those who are tired of emptiness. They won't be attracted to your image, but to your essence. Something inside them will recognize truth when they hear it. They'll sense what you carry, a light that once came from pain. And know this, not everyone will celebrate your sound. Some will resist it. The same light that brings freedom to one exposes discomfort in another. But don't silence yourself for the sake of those unsettled by your truth. Trumpets are meant to wake the sleeping, not to soothe the comfortable. There's a holy urgency in your spirit now, a sense that time is short, that voices of truth must rise. You are part of that divine chorus. Your voice matters not because it's loud, but because it's obedient. Heaven amplifies obedience. When you speak from conviction, the atmosphere shifts. The timid find courage. The weary find hope. The lost find direction. You have become a living frequency of faith, a sound that dismantles despair. So, chosen one, lift your voice. Don't hide behind humility that masks fear. Speak with reverence, but also with fire. Share what you've learned in the dark. Declare what you've seen in the light. Your story carries deliverance for someone else's silence. And now, as a prophetic act of agreement, I invite you to write the words, "Sound the call." Those 3 words are not random, they are response. When you comment them, you're not just engaging with a message, you're affirming your position as a voice in this generation. You're saying to heaven, I will not stay silent. I will carry the call. It's more than typing, it's a spiritual activation. Because your story was never meant to be kept inside. Your voice was never meant to fade into the background. You are a trumpet of truth, and your sound is needed now more than ever. So speak. Chosen one. Declare. Proclaim. Release. The world is waiting for your sound. Chosen one. The season of planting is behind you. Now, you stand in the fields of fulfillment, the harvest of obedience. What you once prayed for through tears is beginning to bloom before your eyes. Every act of faith, every seed sown in silence, every choice to trust instead of retreat has taken root. Heaven has kept careful count, and now the earth is yielding its increase. The Word of God declares in the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9, let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Chosen one, that proper time has arrived. The soil that once looked barren now glimmers with promise. You are walking among blessings that sprouted from the very prayers others doubted would ever bear fruit. Every no you endured was a pruning, not a punishment. The droughts were never denial, they were divine timing. Your obedience has a fragrance like fresh rain hitting dry earth. The heavens recognize it, and creation responds to it. You are living proof that steadfast faith never returns void. The harvest isn't just material, it's emotional, spiritual, and generational. Peace where there was anxiety, joy where there was despair, clarity where confusion once clouded your path. Think of it this way. Every seed you planted was like a word whispered into the ground. At the time, You couldn't see anything. The soil was silent, but underneath, life was forming slowly, quietly, purposefully. Heaven was watering it in unseen ways. And now, you're walking through a garden that once looked like a grave. This is why gratitude is your greatest weapon right now. Gratitude protects the harvest from pride. It keeps your heart soft while the blessings grow tall. Walk through your field with open hands, not clenched fists. Receive without fear. Rejoice without boasting. Share without calculation. The harvest isn't just for you, it's through you. The fruit you now gather will feed many. Your words, your testimony, your transformation. They're all nourishment for souls still hungry for hope. And as you pour out, remember that giving doesn't deplete you, it multiplies you. In the kingdom, generosity is the irrigation system that keeps the harvest alive. That's why I speak to your heart sincerely, not as a request, but as a reminder. If this field of words has fed your faith, water it back. Like this message as a sign of agreement, saying, "This truth takes root in me." Share it as an act of sowing, letting someone else find nourishment in your overflow. Subscribe to stay planted in this flow of revelation, not out of obligation, but out of hunger for more light. And if your spirit feels stirred, donate not as payment, but as partnership. Every seed you sow into this soil becomes rain for another soul's drought. Think of it as placing a handful of sunlight into someone else's darkness. The smallest contribution can carry eternal weight when it's given with love. Your giving is not charity, it's covenant. It says, "I recognize where I've been fed, and I choose to keep this light alive for others." You become both sower and reaper, receiving from heaven and releasing to earth. That's how the kingdom multiplies, through circulation. Not accumulation. Chosen one. This is the rhythm of divine economy. Heaven never calls you to give without first filling your hands. What you offer returns multiplied. You cannot outgive the source. Your generosity is not about losing, it's about linking. When you pour out from the overflow, heaven refills faster than you can release. Your harvest is not fragile. It's fortified by grace. The storms that once broke you now water your blessings. The winds that once threatened your faith now carry the fragrance of your breakthrough. You are standing where sorrow once stood, and the ground beneath you hums with resurrection. Don't be afraid to celebrate it. Joy is holy when it's born from endurance. Dance in your field. Chosen one. Thank God aloud. Tell the soil, thank you for holding your tears. Tell the sky, thank you for raining on time. Tell yourself thank you for not giving up when it would have been easier to walk away. And remember, this harvest is not an ending, it's a beginning. Every fruit carries seeds within it. What you reap now can be replanted to sustain others. Pass it on. Let your obedience become a cycle of blessing that outlives you. Because this abundance, this peace, this overflow is what heaven meant when it said, "In due season." Now, you are living in that due season now. Walk through your field with gratitude, humility, and wonder. The harvest belongs to you, but the glory belongs to God. And as you keep sowing, giving, and growing, may your cup never run dry and your soil never lose its song. Chosen one. You have entered a realm where blessings no longer come as surprises, they come as confirmations. You are surrounded by covenant wealth and divine protection, gifts that flow not from striving, but from standing firm in obedience. The battles you fought were never just about survival. They were training for stewardship. Now, heaven entrusts you with more, not to burden you, but to prove that your heart can handle the weight of abundance without forgetting the giver. The world often measures wealth in numbers and possessions, but you've come to understand that true wealth is not in what you hold, it's in what you can't lose. Peace that can't be bought, faith that can't be shaken, purpose that can't be stolen. This is the currency of heaven, and it's now flowing through your life like a quiet river, steady and sure. The Book of Proverbs, chapter 10, verse 22, reveals, "The blessing of the Lord brings wealth, and he adds no sorrow with it." Chosen one. Your blessing does not come with hidden traps or silent pain. It comes with balance. It comes with joy that doesn't fade when the lights go out. It comes with wisdom that keeps your hands open and your heart grounded. You are walking in a season where favor and discernment must walk side by side. For every increase, you must build stronger walls of gratitude. For every new door, you must remember who opened it. Look around your life. Notice how the chaos that once surrounded you has been replaced with calm. The constant anxiety that once sat on your chest has lifted. The spiritual battles that once consumed your nights now fade at your command. This peace you feel is not absence of conflict, it's the presence of authority. You no longer beg for protection, you walk in it. The very atmosphere recognizes your covenant. Angels move with you now. You may not see them, but you feel them, gentle nudges guiding your steps away from danger. Quiet whispers reminding you to wait. Sudden delays that save you from unseen harm. That's not luck. That's divine security. Heaven has stationed guardians around your destiny because your purpose has become too valuable to risk to coincidence. And with this protection comes prosperity, not just in material form, but in opportunity, influence, and insight. God is enriching you in ways that extend beyond your bank account. He's increasing your capacity to give, to build, to lead. You're no longer living day to day. You're managing eternity's resources on earth. Chosen one. This is why your testing had to be so intense. God doesn't place gold in untested vessels. He had to prove your integrity before entrusting you with inheritance. He had to strip away greed before releasing glory. The wilderness taught you contentment, and now contentment has qualified you for abundance. Be mindful. Though blessing without wisdom becomes bondage. The enemy cannot steal what God gives, but he can distract you from using it well. Stay alert. Stay surrendered. Keep your heart uncluttered, your motives pure, your hands generous. Wealth is safest in the hands of those who see it as worship. Chosen one. Divine protection means you can move forward without fear, but not without focus. Every step matters now. Every choice shapes your legacy. You carry influence, even in silence. People are watching how you handle increase, whether your humility deepens or diminishes, whether your gratitude expands or fades. Let your prosperity preach humility louder than your poverty ever preached. Desperation. And when challenges arise again, and they will remember that protection does not mean the absence of storms. It means the assurance that no storm can sink you. God's covenant surrounds you like an invisible fortress. Even when the winds roar, they cannot breach the boundaries heaven has set around your life. Sometimes Divine protection doesn't look like escape. It looks like endurance. It's the ability to remain standing when others fall, to stay peaceful when circumstances scream chaos. It's the quiet knowing that even if the earth trembles, your foundation will not crack. That's the power of covenant. You're held by something eternal. So, live with confidence, not arrogance, but awareness. You are under divine insurance, covered, preserved, sustained. The blessing resting upon you is not temporary, it's generational. It flows through you into everything you touch, everyone you nurture, every dream you build. Chosen one. You are both blessed and guarded. You are living inside the promise that others still hope for. You are the living example that obedience builds an unshakable life. Let gratitude be your response to every gift. Let wisdom be your companion in every choice. And let peace be the proof that you truly trust the provider more than the provision. You don't need to chase protection, it surrounds you. You don't need to beg for blessing, it already flows. Your life has become a testimony that covenant with God is the safest, richest, most lasting inheritance of all. Chosen one. Do you feel it? The rhythm of time has shifted. The days no longer drag, they move with precision. Like notes in a divine symphony, heaven's calendar is now aligning with your obedience. The waiting that once felt endless suddenly makes sense. You are walking in divine timing, the intersection where patience meets purpose. Every promise has its hour. Every vision has its appointed moment. Nothing God spoke over you was ever delayed. It was maturing. You were not denied. You were being designed for the weight of fulfillment. And now, as everything begins to converge, the divine clock strikes now. End of scene. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 21, verse 22, if you believe, you will receive whatever you ask for in prayer. End of scene. Chosen one. Belief is the bridge between prophecy and manifestation. You crossed that bridge through endurance. You kept believing when your eyes saw nothing. You kept walking when the path disappeared. Now faith becomes sight, and timing becomes testimony. Notice the patterns forming around you, doors opening without effort, people entering your life at the perfect moment, answers arriving at the exact point of surrender. These are not random blessings, they are orchestrated alignments. Heaven's timing has never been off. It was waiting for you to be ready. Divine timing is not a clock, it's a conversation. It listens to the posture of your heart. When your heart shifted from striving to surrender, heaven responded with movement. Every time you said, "Your will, not mine," another gear in eternity turned. And now, the mechanisms of destiny are in motion. You may wonder why it all took so long. The truth is, time is not punishment, it's protection. If you had received certain blessings too soon, they might have overwhelmed you. God was not withholding, He was safeguarding. Just as fruit picked too early loses sweetness, your promise needed ripening. You needed the strength to carry it, the wisdom to protect it, and the humility to keep it holy. Chosen one. The universe now echoes your obedience. Creation responds. When the chosen align with heaven's rhythm, opportunities begin to find you. Favor locates you without your chasing it. People you never met suddenly recognize your voice, your light, your purpose. That's what divine timing looks like. It's not forced, it flows. There is a peace that comes when you realize you're not behind. You're not late. You're right on time. Heaven doesn't measure success by speed, it measures it by surrender. The years that felt wasted were actually your preparation period. The slow seasons were shaping your pace for longevity. Think of a seed buried underground. To the outside world, it seems lifeless, motionless. But beneath the surface, timing is working. Roots are reaching downward, structure forming in silence. And then, one morning, a sprout emerges not by accident, but by appointment. That's you, chosen one. You're the seed that refused to die before its due season. And now, because you waited well, acceleration will come naturally. What used to take years will happen in months. What required striving before will now unfold through rest. Divine timing always redeems lost time. Heaven will make sure you don't miss a single thing that belongs to you. You will begin to see patterns, confirmations that make your spirit leap, numbers that repeat, words that resurface, dreams that echo promises once forgotten. Heaven is speaking in rhythm, reminding you that the set time for favor has arrived. Chosen one. When this message reaches you, it's not coincidence, it's calibration. Heaven is syncing your steps to divine tempo. You are exactly where you're supposed to be, standing on the edge of manifested promise. And as an act of prophetic agreement, when your spirit recognizes this truth, comment the number 333 below. This number symbolizes divine completeness, the merging of heaven, earth, and spirit, the perfect balance of timing and purpose. It's heaven's way of saying, you are aligned. When you write that number, do it consciously, not as ritual, but as revelation. You are declaring, my life moves with heaven's rhythm. You are agreeing with the divine calendar that governs your destiny. You are announcing to every delay, your time has expired. Chosen one. From this point forward, you will live guided, not guessing. You'll move by peace, not pressure. You'll discern when to act and when to wait. You'll stop chasing what's already yours and start receiving what's finally ready. Divine timing doesn't mean everything happens easily, it means everything happens rightly. Every connection, every opportunity, every step will now fit perfectly into the puzzle you once thought was broken. Chosen one. You have reached a turning point where destiny no longer whispers, it declares. The shift within you is undeniable. Heaven is placing upon your shoulders a new weight, not of burden, but of authority. You are being clothed in a new mantle, woven from threads of obedience, faith, and endurance. It is not the same light you carried before. It burns brighter, reaches farther, and carries power to shift atmospheres. Every season of testing was preparation for this moment. You were not merely surviving storms, you were being strengthened for stewardship. The mantle of authority is not earned through ambition, it is conferred through surrender. You bowed low enough for heaven to trust you with elevation. As was written in the second book of Kings, chapter 2, verse 9. Let me inherit a double portion of your spirit, cried Elisha to Elijah. And heaven answered, because hunger for purpose always draws the mantle closer. Chosen one. That same hunger has summoned your mantle. You have longed for more, not more recognition, but more revelation. You've asked to see deeper, to love better, to walk closer with the divine. Heaven has heard that cry. The mantle you now receive is not decorative, it is directive. It tells every shadow that you have been authorized by light. This new mantle will change how you move. It carries weight, and weight shifts rooms. When you enter spaces, people may not understand why they feel peace or conviction. That's because you carry heaven's atmosphere. The authority on you silences confusion, brings clarity, and awakens dormant hope. You are no longer just a vessel, you are a voice. But with greater power comes greater purity. The mantle does not exalt pride, it exposes it. It will test your heart in ways you've never faced before. Every hidden motive, every lingering insecurity will surface so that they can be purified. Authority without humility becomes arrogance, but authority clothed in meekness becomes transformation. You may feel the tension between who you were and who you are becoming. That's the mantle settling on your spirit. It feels heavy at first because your old nature cannot carry it. The person you used to be will resist the weight, but the person you are becoming will rise beneath it. Heaven is stretching you to fit the garment of glory. This mantle is not for display, it's for service. It will draw people to you who carry wounds similar to the ones you've survived. Your story will become medicine, your presence a doorway to healing. You'll begin to notice how others open up in your company, how peace surrounds your conversations. That's not coincidence, it's commission. The mantle makes you a refuge for others, even as you walk your own road. Chosen one. This mantle will demand discernment. You will have to guard your time and your energy more than ever. Not everyone who reaches for your attention is assigned to your mission. Some will be drawn to your light, but not ready for its discipline. Wisdom will teach you when to speak, when to stay silent, when to step forward, and when to retreat into solitude. Remember, authority is not noise, it's knowing. The more you walk in divine wisdom, the less you'll need to explain yourself. The anointing on your life will speak louder than any defense you could offer. Let your peace become your proof. You'll also find that prayer changes under this mantle. You'll no longer pray from desperation, but from dominion. Your words will carry command because your heart is aligned with heaven's will. When you speak over situations, the atmosphere will respond, not because of your voice, but because of the authority backing it. Angels move at the sound of obedience. Do not shrink from this. Many are called, but few are trusted with the mantle. It is a sacred honor to carry heaven's weight upon human shoulders. And heaven chose you because you proved faithful with little. You didn't waste the waiting. You didn't despise the small assignments. You served when no one clapped, believed when no one encouraged, obeyed when no one saw. That's what qualified you for this moment. Chosen one. The mantle may feel invisible, but its effects are tangible. It will open doors without words. It will shift hearts without effort. It will make your life a beacon for those still wandering in the dark. The authority you carry is not loud, but it is undeniable. It doesn't need announcement, it needs consistency. This is your commissioning. The crown of endurance has become the cloak of influence. Heaven wraps you now in strength and humility, in power and peace. Walk with awareness. Speak with care. Live as one trusted by the throne. And when doubt whispers that you're unworthy, remember, mantles don't fall on perfection, they fall on the obedient. You are now walking in a double portion. You carry the inheritance of every battle you've overcome. You are covered, called, and crowned, chosen one. What was once slow has now become swift. The winds of acceleration are upon you, and everything that seemed delayed is suddenly catching up to divine schedule. The season of waiting has shifted into a season of multiplication. What took years to build will now expand in days, not because the process has been skipped, but because the preparation is complete. You have been refined long enough. Now, heaven moves with speed on your behalf. Acceleration is not chaos, it's clarity in motion. You are not being rushed, you are being released. Every seed you've sown, every lesson you've learned, every tear you've cried, they are converging into a single moment of divine propulsion. It's as if heaven has placed its hand on your back, whispering, "Go now. The way is clear." Now, according to what is revealed in the book of Amos, chapter 9, verse 13, "The days are coming, declares the Lord, when the reaper will be overtaken by the plowman and the planter by the one treading grapes." Now, this scripture describes you, chosen one. The harvest is overtaking the planting. The fruit is ripening faster than you expected. Blessings are overlapping one another. Opportunities arrive before you've finished unpacking the last one. This is not coincidence, it's compensation. Heaven is redeeming time. You once walked through seasons that felt stagnant, where nothing moved, no matter how hard you prayed. Those were years of divine restraint, not rejection. God was anchoring your roots so the wind of acceleration wouldn't uproot your soul. Now that your roots are deep, your branches can stretch high without breaking. What used to frustrate you has become your foundation. Chosen one. Acceleration feels exhilarating, but can also feel overwhelming. You'll sense pressure, not from opposition, but from expansion. Growth always stretches the vessel that contains it. When blessings multiply, management must mature. Don't mistake the weight of increase for warfare. Sometimes, responsibility simply grows heavier when your capacity enlarges. You will soon notice divine patterns unfolding. Ideas will come faster. Creativity will flow stronger. Doors will open wider. You may even find it difficult to keep up with the pace of favor. When that happens, pause and remember, grace doesn't just accelerate, it sustains. You are not meant to sprint anxiously. You are meant to soar effortlessly. This is the moment to trust divine order. Heaven's acceleration doesn't mean abandon rest. It means move when instructed. Speed without guidance leads to burnout. But speed led by the Spirit leads to fruitfulness. Stay close to the still voice that has guided you through every quiet season. It will now guide you through this rapid one. Think of a river after the rain. The water rushes faster, carrying debris away, carving new paths through the soil. That's what this season is doing for you. It's washing away residue from old disappointments and shaping new roots for destiny. The current may feel strong, but you were made for these waters. You are not being swept away. You are being carried forward. Chosen one. Multiplication is the language of heaven when obedience matures. You sowed faith in famine, and now the ground itself rushes to reward you. Everything attached to your name begins to expand. Peace multiplies. Influence multiplies. Revelation multiplies. The same voice that once told you, wait, is now declaring, move. You'll know it because the doors open naturally. The timing feels right, and your spirit hums with divine rhythm. In this season, connections will form faster than logic can explain. People aligned with your purpose will appear suddenly, as if drawn by magnetism. These are destiny partners. Recognize them by their peace, not their promises. The right ones won't compete with your calling, they'll complement it. Even as things accelerate, guard your center. Noise increases with movement. Many will seek your attention, your wisdom, your energy. Learn to protect your stillness. The speed around you must never override the silence within you. That inner sanctuary is where clarity lives. And clarity keeps acceleration from becoming distraction. Chosen one. Acceleration is heaven's acknowledgement that delay has ended. You no longer need to push, just keep pace. When God hastens your steps, He also strengthens your legs. You'll find that what used to exhaust you now energizes you. The momentum of purpose will carry you further than effort ever could. And as you move forward, remember, acceleration is not just about personal blessing, it's about multiplied impact. Every step you take releases ripples that touch lives beyond your sight. Your obedience becomes a current that draws others into motion. So run, but with peace. Build, but with grace. Expand, but with gratitude. For the days have come when the reaper overtakes the sower and the promise outpaces the prayer. You are living in divine acceleration, fast, fruitful, and firmly guided by the hand of heaven. Chosen one. You've reached the point where the battle's echo fades, and the sound that follows is not war, it's worship. Heaven has crowned you publicly. What was once whispered in prayer is now visible in purpose. You have fought, endured, and remained faithful. Now the crown, long prepared in silence, rests upon your head. It isn't made of gold or gemstones. It's woven from the threads of obedience and tears. You wear victory not as decoration, but as identity. The prophet Isaiah wrote, chapter 62, verse 3, "You will be a crown of splendor in the Lord's hand, a royal diadem in the hand of your God." Chosen one. This is who you've become, a living crown in the hand of the divine. Your life itself is an emblem of heaven's craftsmanship, shining not for vanity, but for testimony. You are proof that endurance refines, that suffering sanctifies, and that humility always precedes honor. That's why I speak to your spirit, sincerely. If this message has watered your soul, let your response become part of the light. Like this message, not for numbers, but as a spark of agreement, saying, "I receive my crown." Share it as an act of compassion, because somewhere, someone is still fighting the battle you've already won. Let your testimony become their torch. Subscribe to stay connected to this flow of divine encouragement, not to follow a voice, but to stay near a frequency that keeps your faith alive. And if you feel that quiet nudge in your heart, donate. Do it not from obligation, but from overflow. Every seed sown here becomes oil for the flame fuel that keeps these messages burning for others who wander in darkness. You see, generosity is the language of kings and queens. When God crowns you, He also expands your heart to give. Giving doesn't lessen your shine, it multiplies it. The crown you wear glows brighter when your hands are open. Chosen one. Think of it like a garden of light. Each act of giving, whether it's a kind word, a prayer, or an offering, is a seed of radiance planted into someone else's night. Heaven takes those seeds and turns them into constellations. Together, our lights form a sky of hope that guides weary hearts home. So don't hold back your glow. Don't dim your shine to make others comfortable. Light is not arrogance, it's assignment. You are meant to illuminate, to inspire, to remind the world that redemption is real. Your crown is also your calling. It's not just a reward for what you've endured, it's a responsibility for what comes next. The same authority that lifted you will now flow through you. Your words will heal. Your presence will calm. Your prayers will shift realities. You'll speak peace into chaos and watch storms dissolve. You'll enter rooms heavy with confusion and feel the air change because the crowned one has arrived. But remember, crowns are not glued to heads. They must be carried with humility, or pride will tilt them. The moment you start seeing your light as self-made, the glow will flicker. Stay rooted. Stay grateful. Let every compliment become an offering back to the Creator who placed that radiance in you. The crown also attracts eyes both kind and cruel. Not everyone will celebrate your rise. Some will question your worthiness. Others will misunderstand your glow. But pay them no mind. The crown was placed by hands, not human. Sealed by words, not earthly. No one can remove what heaven decreed. Chosen one. Your journey now shifts from surviving to serving, from fighting for freedom to guiding others toward it. You are no longer a soldier, you are a standard. The light that once saved you now shines through you. That's what crowns do. They don't just rest, they radiate. And as you stand, crowned, remember to breathe. The air feels different at this altitude, thinner, clearer, purer. Let gratitude fill your lungs. You've climbed long enough to know that this height isn't lonely, it's holy. So, wear your crown with reverence. Walk with grace. Speak with warmth. Let humility be your scepter and love your throne. You are heaven's royal envoy walking among the weary, proof that persistence produces glory. And if this word has met you in the right season, if it has stirred something sacred within, take a moment after you read this and write a simple comment. Crowned in grace. Let those words mark this chapter of your journey. Let them echo as your declaration that the season of battle has ended and the era of reign has begun. Chosen one. You are crowned, not because of perfection, but because of perseverance. You are light, not because of pride, but because you endured the night. And now, the crown gleams not to make you famous, but to make God visible through you. Chosen one. Blessings are never meant to end with you. They are rivers, not réservoirs. You have come to the part of the story where what flows through your life begins to spill into others. The legacy that is being written in your name will reach places your feet may never walk. Your faith has created ripples that move beyond the borders of your existence, touching generations, yet unborn. This is the mystery of divine inheritance. What begins as obedience in one person becomes overflow for many. The decisions you made in silence, the prayers you whispered when no one listened, have planted seeds in the soil of eternity. Those seeds will bloom in the lives of your children, your students, your community, even strangers who will never know your name but will live in the light you kindled. As the prophet Moses recorded in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 9, the Lord your God is faithful, keeping his covenant of love to 1,000 generations of those who love him. Chosen one, your faith has begun. That covenantal chain, it will not break. The light that guided you through darkness will continue to illuminate others after you. Your endurance has written a story that heaven will reread through the lives that follow. Legacy is not built by words alone, it is built by the quiet consistency of love. Every act of forgiveness, every moment of kindness, every time you chose patience over pride, you were writing a chapter of your eternal impact. Heaven does not measure legacy by fame or fortune, it measures it by faithfulness. And in that measure, you are rich beyond counting. Your story has become a manual for endurance. Those who come after you will not need to guess how to walk through storms. They will look at your footsteps and find their way. The strength you showed in weakness has become a map. The courage you demonstrated in confusion has become a compass. Even your scars have turned into road signs that read, "This way leads to victory." End quote. Chosen one. What you carry is generational healing. You broke cycles that were never meant to continue. You ended patterns of fear, poverty, and shame that ran through your bloodline for decades. Your obedience has shifted the entire trajectory of those connected to you. Heaven will use your yes to echo in descendants who will walk in freedom you never imagined. It is humbling, isn't it, to realize that your small acts of faith are shaping futures beyond your lifetime. But this is how God works. He hides eternity inside ordinary obedience. What you thought was a simple prayer, a small offering, a single act of courage, heaven saw as a generational investment. There will come a day when others will stand where you now stand and whisper your name in gratitude, not because you were perfect, but because you were persistent. They'll speak of you as the one who stood when everyone else bowed, as the one who believed when believing felt foolish, as the one who broke through so others could breathe freely. Chosen one. Your reward is no longer just personal, it's generational. The peace that now rests on you will linger in your home, in the hearts of those who look up to you, in the stories told long after you are gone. The faith that sustained you will not die with you. It will continue to flow like a river, winding through time, watering dry places. Do not underestimate the power of the example you've become. Even now, people observe your life and silently draw strength from it. You may not notice, but heaven does. Every time you choose integrity when compromise seems easier, someone watching learns courage. Every time you respond with love instead of resentment, someone watching learns grace. Every time you keep moving when tired, someone watching learns endurance. Legacy is not announced, it's lived. You don't need to proclaim it. It reveals itself in the fruit of your faithfulness. What you build in this season will outlast buildings and names. It will live in hearts, in values, in the unseen inheritance of spirit. The world may remember monuments, but heaven remembers moments, those quiet, hidden ones where you chose righteousness over recognition. That's where eternal legacies are forged. Chosen one. Your story will continue speaking long after your voice is silent. The power of your obedience will echo through time. The prayers you prayed will still be answered generations later. The mercy you extended will still ripple outward, transforming lives you'll never meet. Chosen one. The promise is no longer distant. It surrounds you now like morning mist, gentle and certain. You are walking in fulfillment, not as a dreamer chasing destiny, but as one who finally lives inside what was once only spoken. The waiting, the weeping, the wandering, all of it was worth it. You have crossed from prophecy into reality. and the landscape around you bears witness to the faithfulness of God. Fulfillment does not come with fanfare. It comes with quiet assurance. The noise of striving fades, and peace settles where fear once lived. You wake each day aware that heaven's hand is guiding even your smallest steps. There is no rush anymore, only rhythm. You no longer fight for promises, you walk in them. You have learned that victory is not an event, it is a lifestyle. The Apostle Paul wrote in the book of Philippians, chapter 1, verse 6, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Chosen one. That good work is unfolding, even now. Every word God spoke over you is finding its form. Every prayer you thought vanished into silence was actually building the foundation beneath your feet. You are standing on answered prayers, some from years ago, some from generations past. The ground you walk on has been softened by the tears of those who believed before you. Fulfillment doesn't erase struggle, it redeems it. The very pain that once haunted you has become the proof of transformation. You can see now that every trial was necessary. The storms sculpted your strength. The delays defined your discernment. And the rejections refined your heart. You are not bitter about the path anymore. You're grateful for it. The lessons hidden in pain have become treasures. Now, as you live in the reward of obedience, new challenges will appear not to undo you, but to expand you. Blessings bring their own form of testing. Can you remain humble in abundance? Can you still hear God when the noise of success grows loud? Can you keep your heart tender when others praise you? These are the new questions of fulfillment, and you are ready to answer them through wisdom. Not worry. You have learned the rhythm of rest. You understand that you don't have to prove yourself anymore. What's yours won't require exhaustion. To keep it will flow naturally. Like rivers returning to the sea, your spirit now operates in peace, because peace is power. Those who see you now will not understand how much it cost to carry this calm. They'll admire the fruit without knowing the furnace. But heaven knows. Every scar glows like gold in the light of grace. You are living testimony that suffering can produce sanctification, that loss can give birth to legacy. Chosen one. Fulfillment is not static, it's stewardship. You are now the caretaker of everything you once prayed for. Every answered prayer requires attention. Every blessing requires balance. Keep tending your field with gratitude. Don't forget the rhythm that brought you here. Listen. Obey. Rest. Repeat. That cycle will sustain you when the next horizon appears. And there will be more horizons. Fulfillment doesn't mean the journey ends. It means the direction changes. God is not finished. He's unfolding. Each day is another page of the promise. Another breath of the same divine story. You are walking proof that His word never returns void. Look around you. Chosen one. See how the air feels lighter now. Notice how peace fits you perfectly, like a garment tailored by heaven. The old weight no longer clings. The old fears no longer speak. What once seemed impossible is now your normal. This is the season you were shaped, for the place where faith becomes familiarity, where miracles feel natural, where gratitude flows easier than complaint. You live no longer from survival, but from overflow. Fulfillment is not the end of your story, it's the beginning of your legacy. You are walking in promise, glowing with purpose, crowned with peace. Heaven watches, smiling, because the word it once whispered over you now walks the earth in your steps. Chosen one. We have walked this entire journey together, from battle to breakthrough, from silence to song. You have felt the fire. You have seen the light. And now you stand crowned in purpose. This is not just the end of a message. It's the continuation of your mission. The words that have stirred your soul were not random. They were divine reminders that you were never forgotten, never ordinary, never alone. You carry within you the vibration of victory. Everywhere you go now, you will bring that same presence of peace that once rescued you. Let your light keep shining. Let your voice keep declaring. Let your love keep healing. The story doesn't end here. It begins again each time you choose faith over fear, love over anger, and gratitude over complaint. If this journey has touched your heart, let your response become part of the light. Like this message as your silent Amen. Share it not as promotion, but as prophecy, because someone else needs to remember they are chosen too. Comment something that reflects your spirit in this moment. Perhaps words like, "I receive this," or "still chosen." Let the comment section become an altar of gratitude and declaration. Subscribe if you feel called to continue walking with this voice of hope, so that each new word finds you at the right time, like heaven knocking on your heart again. And if your soul feels led, donate. Do it not for the platform, but for the purpose to help keep this flow of light reaching those still wandering in the dark. Chosen one. Your destiny is not tomorrow, it's now. Walk with peace. Live with purpose. Shine with love. Heaven is not finished with you yet.